This is the site where we're going to have a bonfire. We're going to show you what it looks like right before. We're going to light this baby up.
Living Center, 888-888-1717. Now, as we think about the process of intentional living, as we think about this process, the very first thing that we encourage
this will be my very last bonfire.
Conference or working with,
but everybody on YouTube can enjoy the fire. Don't worry, it gets much bigger than this.
You have to start.
Just continue watching.
You know, by putting the wide angle lens of the flashlight, so it's nice and broad, on the dreams and problems and opportunities within your life. You know, it says in Psalm 37 that if we delight ourselves in the Lord, He will give us the desires of our heart. The problem is, so often the desires of our heart are not in the delight part of His plan for us. They're fleshly. And so we need to illuminate dreams and problems and opportunities instead of hiding them or arguing about them or blaming others for the problems.
It takes a little bit to get this fire burning, but there is 2 gallons of motor oil onto the pit. Plus I changed my equipment, that's another ½ gallon, plus previous
that's what we're talking
trash.
About today. So often we either have no goals or we have just way too many goals, and in the process, too many goals, well, nothing happens, right? And so we take that wide, you know, that wide beam of that flashlight.
Eventually it will be night. It will be prettier, but right now we started early because there's so much debris.
Focused, almost laser-like, perhaps. That's the power of one thing. That's being intentional. What is the goal?
And let's get a little closer. Filming. Now the fire is actually something to watch. There's nothing in this can explode at the current time, but we will slow once it gets going good. So throw some aerosol cans in it. But right now, okay, the heat is pretty hot right now. Burning straight up, which I like. Yep, down at the bottom there's a lot of plastic debris. You can see the smoke is burning black. Yes, this will be a long video, and my phone, it seems to be hot. I'm going to take a second break because I have to...
That a year ago, I decided to be intentional about my health and start running. So I literally could run about 100 steps before I was gasping for air a year ago. And now I'm up to running.
Yeah, the reason I started the bonfires was trying to get single ladies over. It failed. Only thing, the best part of the bonfire was the actual show.
A few miles at a time. It's been an amazing physical transformation.
But I want YouTube viewers to enjoy my very last bonfire.
Because I use that time to pray. I have 4 little kids and I don't have a whole lot of downtime at home, and so this is an opportunity that I can just go out and I can talk to God and listen to God and also get in shape at the same time. Thank you very much for what you do.
That is really good. That's cool. I love
I'm going to pause it for a few minutes until we get the total darkness. You get a viewer at total darkness. Nope, I'm beginning right now because there's a lot of crisp and crackling in the fire. You can hear it. It is quite warm out here right now. I'm sweating. And it's a cool night. I haven't sweat yet till now. At this current time, I'm not adding to plastic, but because the flames, look how high those flames are. That is pretty cool, I think. And if you watch my previous bonfire video, you know this one is awesome one. I hear a lot of crackling, but I didn't put nothing in there explosive, but you never know. Okay, we're going to take a second break. Look how bright the light is. The viewfinder is having problems. And the beautiful black smoke. Look at that. Give it about 30 seconds of that, then come back down. Because of this fire, probably not global warming, ozone day will be happening tomorrow. Shoot. Okay, take another break.
Or we're going to follow our own desires. That's what Paul talks about.
Even this far away, it's still too warm to be here.
And when we do,
having a little problems with the camera because it's turning different colors.
It's really, really bad, and like where you were a number of years ago. Glad to hear that you're on the right path, Deborah. And you know what? I'm glad you're listening to radio. How does the radio station, listening to the radio
and you can tell this is a religious bonfire. In the background is Family Life Radio.
When I tend to get angry, and I'm riding down the street as I am right now. And this goodness, it really is. And the testimonies you hear, some I can relate to, and some I'm glad I can't relate to.
Look how big the flames are. It is awesome.
Answer. Jesus is his son, and I love him, and I'm going to do what he said.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a goal to me. Deborah, thank you for your call. God bless you.
God bless you, and thank you for having me.
Bye-bye. Listen, are you doing better without...
Okay, I'm going to change locations because it's just making me sweat right now. I don't know what it's popping. I'm trying to find another. This video would be perfect. People like watching logs burning in the fire with a bonfire. Nice 20 below the degree. This will heat you up to about 200 degrees. Not much different angles I can get, but look how high. Look how toxic that smoke is. And I will not be burning a tire on this one because the toxicity level is higher than I ever did before. Hey, make comments if you have any bigger bonfires than this. I would love to see them because I'm thinking this is a pretty huge bonfire for a country setting. And this is not a pit fire. I have a hole down below, but it is a on-ground burning sensation, and there is a lot of space between everything. There's nothing over here to get caught on fire at all. No power lines above or anything. It's just straight heat. But this would have been a perfect one for like 20 or 10 degree day. Guarantee it would be at least 67 degrees standing in front of this fire. Only reason I don't get close because the phone is a Galaxy. I just don't want to wreck it.
About it, it's pretty easy to see that, hey, God gets the glory.
If you're an expert in bonfires, just let me know how hot you think this one was when it first started. Now it's calming down like a baby one, but it was one hell of a stretch to the sky.
Just because you're being intentional, just because you have a goal of losing weight or being better. Oh, what have you learned about goals in your life?
I struggled with mental illness in reference to being the hyper end of bipolar. And what I've learned over the last couple years is that...
Actually, it's starting to get a baby one. Should we add more plastic? I think so. I got some plastic. I will be right back filming more. I can't add plastic at the current time because the area right around the area, even the extra motor oil is warm. The thing I keep my extra plastic, it is hot. The heat this is producing is phenomenal. I never had this hot of a fire. Well, my station for getting stuff out is too hot to touch.
Of setting goals of what's the next right one thing to do.
We just have to wait until it cools down roughly.
In the midst of a crisis, boy, you got to have goals,
we can enjoy
right?
the
You
pictures.
get up and you say, hey, this is my goal for today. That's why we talk about narrowing the focus on goals. So often we have all of these goals. I've talked to people, oh yeah, I want to do this and this and this and this, but narrow it, the power of one thing. Otherwise, we become very scattered in the process. We're talking about goal setting and the power of setting goals to bring honor and glory to Christ.
Doing one thing today could mean a stronger, more intentional marriage in Christ.
We're already seeing the difference in our marriage. I feel that we're much more connected and we're learning.
King Hoover? King Hoover.
Once it cools down enough where I can add more plastic, we can get the frames back up there.
King Hoover.
Hold on for that.
He's going to be with us. Friend clutter, financial, emotional.
This is the best scene when it's night.
Sometimes
look
even
at
our thinking and words that
close enough tonight.
That gets us bogged down spiritually.
Started out
but
big.
We're focusing on just one step in this process. It's the power of goals. And the reason so many people set goals and fail to achieve them is because...
And the sad part, now the smoke is clear. We can't have that.
They don't take
Let's see if I can put some plastic in there to make it nice and
How do you turn your good intention? That's it.
Just got done adding plastic.
This is Deborah from Kansas.
The smoke should eventually turn black again.
I fell down and slipped at work. And the nurse told me that day when she saw me that I was never going to be the same after that. And I am still believing God to restore my knee. I had a uni-knee replacement in Kansas. The bone is not growing where it's supposed to be, so every step I take, it's painful. And so sometimes I just lay on the floor and I listen to the glorious music and the glorious teachings. And I'm donating today a little bit, but when I have more, I'm going to share more because God is God all by himself. And
we can see a little change in the smoke.
All of us
now it's starting to turn.
And to make our faith walking.
I can't get jet black, but I can get a darker tone right now.
I'm just very thankful for this radio station. I've been serving Jesus all my life. I started teaching Sunday school when I was 13, got called into the ministry young. And I'm an author and
wrote this video up for a great big bonfire.
With all my heart, soul, mind, and strength. And this radio station is helping me when I cannot get out.
Only thing I don't use on my bonfires is gasoline because it's just too dangerous. But I use motor oil, stabilizers,
I lay on the
brake fluid cleaners.
I feel sorry for myself.
Stuff like that, and a lot of plastic.
That's what many of us would do, right?
And if I had people over, I would have tire right on top, but unlimited on how many tires I have to burn.
She lay on the floor. She just enjoys the music, the programming, giving God the glory, living her life the best she can to the extent that she can. Be intentional on doing the next right.
Now we're back to the darker smoke.
And then we're going to also, I said, hey guys, let's throw into the box, the kit, the one thing wristband that I talk about, that I wear. I'm going to send you one. Encourage you to wear it for 30 days at least, every day, with this intention. Lord, what one thing can I do today or will do today or commit to do today that'll bring you glory? It's our gift to you as you sign up to become a member of the Intentional Living family today. Just go to...
Okay, now this is starting to depress me. Let's get the fire back up to high as I can get. Hold on.
They have specific roles.
Now we got the smoke back to black.
To make sure their efforts don't overlap or get in each other's way. Singer went on to mention the convoy of government relief efforts. In many instances, they are the government response. Not in the sense that their actions are directed by government, but instead that government recognizes their integral role and seeks to facilitate their actions. Federal agencies such as FEMA and their state counterparts rely on these groups, so much so that, as Singer tells us, FEMA ran interference for Samaritan's Purse with other agencies such as U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And there's a lot more where that came from. According to the CEO of National Voluntary
And outside that
Organizations
weed,
Active
I
in Disaster,
put motor oil on it, wanting that weed to
about
burn. Look at
80%
it.
of all recovery
I can't really
happens
stir
because
up
of
the fire.
nonprofits,
It's just
and
too
the majority of them
hot.
are faith-based. Now,
Too hot
that's
than I'm
the
used to.
implications of
Because
that
even
number
right
sink
around
in.
there,
And yet, as I've told you
that
several
stuff is
times, an
hot,
increasing
the tote and
percentage
everything in
of
there.
Americans, nearly half, think that the government could replace religious organizations and the charitable services they offer with no problems and nothing
never know.
lost.
I might catch
to
that
see
weed
just
on
how
fire.
wrong this is, we only need to look at South Texas and Florida. But just as important as the efforts offered by people of faith are the reason why they do what they do. The answer, of course, is, if I may paraphrase Senator Dianne Feinstein's anti-religious questioning,
maybe a friend's wife will die. That's in the letter. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with the guys in this world that they haven't discovered you yet? Maybe your standards are too high for a mate. And this is the most pious of all, quote unquote, I prayed for my husband. All you have to do is pray. And some of you girls know that hasn't worked for you, has it? And then my friend who wrote this letter to me asked this very sensitive question. She said, quote, why can't people be more sensitive to us where we are? Everything in the church, she said, seems to be geared for couples.
I sprayed some
Even in
more
our
fluid on
churches,
that bush
Valentine's
thing,
banquets,
trying to kill it,
Christmas
but it's burning at the
banquets,
bottom.
overnight retreats, trips, everything revolves around husband and wife.
Only a
and
forest
parent
fire
and
would be
child
that
and
hard to
teen.
burn a bush.
But I'm
Think
single.
about it.
What about
that
me?
one little bush?
She said, I know there are advantages to being single, but if one more person tells me how cheap it is to live single this way, God
It's
gives
just too
some
hot
the
to
gift
stir
of
up
husband
anything.
and
I try to
wife,
get
and
close to it.
others He gives the gift of being able to stay happily unmarried. It is a gift from God. So being married is a gift from God, and being single is a gift from God. And what you need to do, if you happen to be single, is took him out of this world long before his time. And his ministry was of such a nature that had he had a family, had he been married, he never could have accomplished what God called him to do. Notice, thirdly now, allow it for your growth. Listen to this.
I will be closing
Please
out this
pray
video.
that every
I'll let
day
you watch
there
the
will be
last
less
little bit of
me
flames
and more of Christ
for
in my
about a minute.
life. You see, she
Then we call
understood
this the end
what it was
of
like
Milton's
to take a
bonfires.
situation and allow it for growth.
I have
Not
burnt
to be
couches,
seeking what
tires,
God might not
everything.
have for her in that time frame, but to let that situation be God's tool in her life for her own maturity in the things of God. Allow it for your growth. If we could just relax in what God has for us, how much better it would be. Then I want you to notice, fourthly, we are to acknowledge it as good.
This is it of the bonfire.
accept
It's
it as
just
a
too
gift
hot to do
and
the
allow it for
LSR
growth.
cans,
And
and
here's
I'm
number
not
4.
sure they will explode at
You
this
got this?
temperature. Enjoy this
Activate
video,
for
vote
God.
thumbs up, and subscribe for more
Activate your
videos of different
singleness
natures. Won't
for
be
God.
bonfire videos.
Now I want you to
Bye.
look at verses 30.